If you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this.
I love my husband, but I'm falling for someone else. I really do love my husband, and me falling for someone else was never intended. I, 19F, got married to my husband, 20M, Liam, earlier this year. He's my longest relationship, and has always mostly made me happy. Here's the issue: he's a chronic cheater. It started when I glanced at his phone one day and noticed he was texting his ex. So I did what any other girl would do, and I looked through his phone to find that he wasn't just talking to her, but other females as well. Of course this crushed me, and I confronted him a few days later, to which he blocked them all in front of me. Ever since then I would check his phone randomly, sometimes finding the messages with codes to access online dating apps, and eventually figuring out he also has a child. I don't have a problem with this, other than he didn't tell me and thought he could hide it. The mother has made it aware she doesn't want me to be involved with anything, which I understand, but I would like to be notified when our financial situation is being affected so I can make adjustments. I make more money, so usually bills and budgeting is done by me, but I can't even get that. Recently I looked through his phone again to find the online dating app codes again, so I finally decided to download the same ones and confront him with hard evidence. The one time I mentioned them, he tried to tell me he logged back in to delete the accounts after being together for almost a year. While I was searching through the apps looking for his profile, my profile blew up. Among them, one caught my eye, a classmate from when I was in high school that I thought had left the town. Not thinking, I swiped back on him, and since then we've been talking. Not talking like we're trying to date, but catching up since it had been a few years. He's a really sweet, gentle guy, and last night he admitted that he's really started to take an interest to me, and if I'm being honest, the feelings reciprocate. But I love my husband. And I feel so many things wrong for possibly asking for divorce. List includes but not limited to: we haven't been married for a year yet, our families adore us with each other, and have given such extravagant wedding gifts for the both of us that I would feel bad telling them they essentially wasted money, and I just don't want to be a stereotype. More recently I think I've come more to terms with cheaters are likely to stay cheaters, and no matter how loved he makes me feel, he obviously still needs more than what I give. I'm starting to get tired of repeating how I feel only to see the same things happening. I'm torn. I want to say I deserve better, but I probably don't. I started to talk to someone and fell for them. I'm just as bad as him, I feel, at this point. But I'm just tired of trying now. I, 20F, am starting to feel resentment towards my boyfriend, 23M. We have a pretty healthy relationship, been together for about 9 months now, and can talk about absolutely anything. I always reassure him on that. No one is perfect, but sometimes there's just some actions that seem super inconsiderate to me, to the point I've been keeping count on my notes app and reflecting it on my self-worth. I've always been the one to go to him due to him having car issues, which I'm understanding of, so I go and see him as much as I can. Every single time I get there he takes 5 minutes or longer to come out, and I can't help but to wonder if he'd make a girl he was actually interested in wait this long. One night we planned a beach day for the following day. He didn't wake up on time. I sat there for about 10 minutes, called about 2 to 3x and sent messages, nothing. His dad even came out and offered to wake him up for me, but honestly I was embarrassed and went back home. He apologized and I accepted it. We're human and I get oversleeping. I am not sure how we got to this point, but he sent me an unsolicited dick picture. I didn't think much of the picture until I saw that the date was actually about a week before he even sent it to me, and I hung out with him the night before that picture was taken. Around 5 to 6 a.m. we had a huge argument over the possibility of him cheating that night. He said it was his first time sending one and that's why he kept it for so long, and it ended with me saying sorry for not trusting him. Skeptical smiley face. After a couple of months into the relationship I end up pregnant. He was supportive with words and whatnot. I got a bit distant and went about 3 weeks without seeing each other. I get car issues but take the bus. Uber. I go over his place one night and we hang out, we're cuddling in bed and he gets a phone call. Next thing you know his friends are outside of his place. Where does that leave me? In bed. He left me in bed to hang out with his friends. I've never felt so alone like I did in that cold and dark room. He did apologize and I forgave him, but words mean nothing when you're being inconsiderate. There's been small things like the way he literally said the words, "I love you," while the actor's tits were on screen. It honestly kept me up thinking the following night I had a smart remark, but he didn't end up catching on, so I moved on. About a couple weeks ago I asked if I can come over. He said yes, so we planned a sleepover. I told him I was gonna cook us dinner. Once I finished I let him know I'll be OMW soon through a message. No response. I texted him that I was heading out, texted when I was 5 minutes away. Once I got to his place I still had zero response. I called and texted I was here. Couple minutes went by and I decided to drive back home with dinner. Once I got home he messaged me back saying he never got any of the notifications. What? I was furious and boundaries were set on my behalf. I haven't gone over his place since, nor have I seen him ever since. He just recently landed a new job, so I get it. A while back we spoke about exchanging spam accounts since we didn't follow each other on those yet. 2 nights ago I decided to give him the username to mine. He doesn't know I know his. He ignored it, but last night it was emphasized by him. Went to check his account and he had deleted about 70 posts. I kid you not, he went from 591 posts to 522 within the 2 days that I basically asked for a follow. Haven't confronted him on this, just told him, if you feel the need to delete post NVM then. He just emphasized it to ignore it. So I said I'll text him in a couple of days due to needing time to think. My DMs are open to thoughts and opinions. Am I a manipulative overgiver? Girlfriend cheated on me while overseas. So my girlfriend and I were in a bad place for a good year. No sex because I was having intimacy issues due to a penile condition. I told her at one point she could have sex with other guys as long as it was only sex, because I sensed her growing sexually frustrated. She had a healthy sex drive. She said to me she doesn't even want to think about that and just wants me to get better. Regardless, we were emotionally distant at the time due to me going through some mental health issues. I was also a gambling addict at the time and didn't tell her about this. 2 months later we grew even more emotionally distant and she said she wanted to go to Europe. She wanted me to come but I didn't want to. I asked her not to get with anyone over there as I'd been cheated on in the past and she said I had nothing to worry about. She was only meant to go there for a month but instead stayed for close to 3. I ignored her messages over there for 9 days at a time and hooked up with a girl here. I additionally forgot her birthday when she was there. When she got back she revealed she had sex with someone 1 month into the trip and kissed 2 other guys. She then broke up with me. She was too special to me to let go and I ended up fighting for her. We are now having the best sex we've ever had and are back together exclusively. I can honestly say I love her. However, I'm still affected by her getting with 3 guys fairly recently and sometimes it takes me to a dark place. What is your opinion on the situation? Do you think it is okay what my girlfriend did given the circumstances? I know what I did was wrong, especially because there was no agreement in place for me to hook up with other people. Wanting to talk about coping 29F deceitful partner 25M. Caught him on Tinder and 2 other dating sites including Ashley Madison. Previously it was inappropriate relationships with female coworkers, Snapchats late night and first thing in the morning, and before that was his ex adding me on Instagram to show me a screenshot of a conversation where he said, "I'll come see your new place one night, just don't tell my girl." And he's the same one who tells me he hates cheaters and has told my friends he has an irrational fear of being cheated on. He makes it seem as if the fact he didn't meet up with anyone but still had the profiles was okay, because he didn't actually cheat. We've been together 2.5 years, we live together. I think it's safe to say this relationship has run its course. This is my longest. I had such high hopes this would be my last upon starting it. I should have known better. We're two stubborn people and even our sexual chemistry lacks. For me, it never improved. Wanting to leave him and break our lease. Scared of being alone, lonely. I moved to this country by myself right before COVID was a thing in 2020. I'm scared of being alone again and how I'm going to cope with my emotions during the fallout. I regret us moving in together so badly. I wanted to see a therapist ASAP. Unfortunately, my first appointment with them will be in 8 days. I'm struggling emotionally to make it to that day. So I would love some advice on how to cope with my grieving process and the oncoming loneliness. This post was triggered by us having a disagreement about my hurt feelings about the dating profiles, which I had found out about a month ago. I've been saving to leave since finding out. He could tell that I want to leave but haven't. He called me a coward and told me to man up and fix my sh*t. I guess I am a coward. And he mocked me for having a broken heart. As a defense mechanism when he sees us falling apart, he's extremely cruel. He's starting to brainwash me into thinking I'm a shit girlfriend, but I know I'm not. This is the ugly, angry side of him I think is scary. I feel like I deserve better and I felt disrespected and stepped all over. Wife cheated only once while out of town. Thinking about writing an anonymous letter to the man she cheated with. My wife cheated only once and it was out of town at a conference with a stranger 26 years ago. They call that the accidental affair. Met all the criteria. This usually occurs when a spouse is away from home, new location, usually a business trip, and occurs because of a combination of poor boundaries, loosened drinking or drugs, excitement, and anonymity, high-risk situation, an opportunity, curiosity and close proximity to strangers, one who might befriend them during the meeting, and a creation of false intimacy. She confessed and answered the questions I had at the time, but because of the brain fog I had, there are remaining questions. For the first few years, I would have flashbacks on the month anniversary of when it happened. Then I haven't had any for years. This year the flashbacks came back and I've been ruminating about them for weeks and running the loop in my brain imagining what they did. I had the desire to know all the gritty sexual details, but experts say not to ask because you can't unknow it and it could make the flashbacks worse. Instead of imagining what happened, then you would know for a fact. I don't know if she told him she was married, but she participated, so I guess it doesn't matter. The man lives in another state. The only thing I know about him is his name. Since the flashbacks have been so severe, I am considering writing an anonymous letter to him. Not asking specifics, but just letting him know that I know and how it affected me. Should I stay or should I go after 5+ years of absolutely no physical or sexual contact? I am AF 49 and my boyfriend is M 45 and we've been together for the better part of the past 5 years. Back in 2021 I caught him on Tinder twice and I broke up with him because I considered him pursuing other women cheating. We were broken up from May 2020 until September of 2022. Now that we're back together I've caught him talking to other women on the internet and I told him that beings the majority of these women are overseas and it's only talk, but I've found conversations he's having with local women that's borderline cheating. Now that's not even what's bothering me is the way that he talks to these women. He tells every one of them that they're beautiful, sexy and breathtaking. Now I've been with him for years and never once has he ever given me a single compliment that I didn't have to ask him how do I look or something like that. Now he suffers from a horrible case of erectile dysfunction and he's refused to get help for his problem, so for the biggest part of the past 5+ years none of my needs have gotten taken care of. I've tried to get him to participate in foreplay and other things that would help me, and he is totally against that. Now I am frustrated, tense, irritable, and so stressed out that you couldn't believe, and he's just not interested in any kind of physical or sexual contact with me whatsoever. He's perfectly satisfied with sexting with other women and jerking himself off, and my needs don't matter at all. What should I do, because I am totally confused and I am tired of never having any physical contact with another person. I feel like my boyfriend is ashamed of me. I 34F started dating this guy 32M 5 months ago. It was a rocky start, broke up once but we got back together. He is very kind to me, he will do things for me, he is very caring and very thoughtful. On the paper he is the perfect boyfriend. But there's always something that I feel like wrong. When he broke up with me, he told me that he doesn't introduce me to his friends Beck. He doesn't see himself being with me long term, that he feels like the more he stays with me the more he will deprive me of the person I should be with. Then he left. He broke my heart. 4 weeks later, he was crawling back, asking for another chance. Long story short, I took him back. He told me that he went out on dates, and there's this particular lady he took out 3 times. She is a lawyer, my BF said, though he knows they are both not that interested. He was showing up Beck. He finds her interesting, mainly about her job. But after 3 dates they both ghosted each other, and he told me, going on dates, he realized how much we have in common and how much he missed me, and how much stupid he was breaking up with me. My boyfriend is a big shot, some would say. He is a mechanical engineer, double degree. He works for a company where he manages big projects, coastal and marines. He looks good, takes good care of himself, and he has money. I've learned that the people he dated were doctors, surgeons, those kind of women, you know what I mean. And here I am a ward nurse and a tad older than him. I am far from being well off. I am an immigrant. I send money back home to help my parents. I pay my own bills and live by myself. So whenever we go out, my boyfriend pays 90% of the time. Whenever we go on a long weekend trip, he will pay for the plane tickets and accommodations. I will pay for dinner, but within reasonable prices. My boyfriend has expensive taste, so when we go to expensive restaurants, he pays for it all the time. I feel crap about it sometimes, but what can I do? My boyfriend is somewhat arrogant as well. When he met my friends, he told me he wasn't comfortable Beck. It wasn't his crowd. I thought it's Beck. He doesn't know the people. I later realized that it's Beck. My friends were all low to middle class people. The only thing I am quite proud of is that I am quite smart and I am good at what I do, and people tell me all the time that I am very pretty, but being pretty will not keep a relationship. It took my boyfriend 4 months to introduce me to his 2 friends. He never posted me to his social media or even anything suggested that he is with someone, and I feel like our relationship is so private. Whenever we are out I am the one who always initiate holding hands. He would sometimes, but very rare. I don't know if I am just overthinking, but I am so insecure about our status and our differences in our education. I am actually hurting Beck. I am proud of myself. I moved in this country with a high school diploma. I worked so hard to be able to afford my degree. I beat my classmates that were born and raised here in exams, and my peers look up to me. But why this man that I love doesn't see how hard to be where I am at today? I honestly feel like breaking up with him, but I don't want to regret anything. As he is kind person overall, I just don't know if I am the right person for him and vice versa. What do you guys think? How do I turn a long-term friend crush into something more? I 26F have had a crush on this guy 28M since the day I met him. I was a sophomore in college and he was a senior. I was going to formal with his best friend. Nothing ever happened between me and the friend except a kiss. Over the years we've stayed in each other's orbit. He tried to hire me for a job out of college. We had a flirty dinner, etc. For a little bit, I thought I was over the crush, but I spent a weekend with him, some of our mutual friends this summer, and it all reignited. At the time, I was dating someone, so nothing happened that weekend, but I felt as though there was a definite energy between us. Since then, we've been talking much more, for work-related reasons, but we joke around a lot, banter often, both via text and Instagram DM. I saw him last week for something work-related and melted. He complimented me a bunch, and I swear there is a twinkle in his eye when we talk. This is all to say I am crushing very hard on him. Unfortunately, he doesn't live in my city, but I'm wondering how to see if this could be something. Do I go through mutual friends to get intel? Do I just wait it out to see if he makes a move? I don't think he knows I'm single now. My 30FX28M contacts me even though I told him to move on. My 30F broke up with my ex-boyfriend, 28M, 3 months ago. I met him early this year and we got together rather quickly because I was surprised to see that we have so much in common. During the course of relationship, I noticed he love-bombed me a lot, was manipulative, and contradicted the personalities that he claimed he is. For example, I like a more independent life, to which he said he is not clingy, but he is always asking me where I am if I am leaving work late, or gets angry when I leave work too late. Doesn't take no for an answer. Another time, when we had plans to stay over at his house for the weekend, I suddenly had a family emergency and had to leave for home on that Saturday, and he got mad. Because of these things, I broke it off with him. I proposed we go no contact. In the first week after the breakup, he broke NC and called me twice on 2 separate occasions asking me to take him to the hospital, but I was at work. Later, he visited my grandparents 3 times and gave them gifts. This was also something important that I have spoken to him about. My grandparents do not like surprise visits, and they always appreciated it if they were notified before we go visit them. He knew of this and went there anyway, and the visits made them super uncomfortable. He also managed to place gifts to me at my workplace. While on NC, he also sent LinkedIn requests to people who worked closely with me. These are people who he has never met. He would then send me messages requesting for favors that I know very well that he can do himself. Some examples are, he can't find a face wash product on Amazon and asked me to link him. He needed some information on a type of polymer and asked me to give him my old lecture notes. He then updated his Facebook cover photo to a picture of his graduation with his family and me in it. After these incidences, I blocked him everywhere. Last week, he went to my house at the break of dawn and tied a bag on the side mirror of my car. The bag contains a note, a movie ticket, and a snow globe. The CCTV at my house captured the entire incident. The note asks for reconciliation. I then sent him an email asking him not to bother my family and to stop sending me things or connecting with people close to me to get a response from me. It makes Sue all feel uncomfortable. I also mentioned that I cannot reconcile, and told him it's best to move on. He then sent an angry message saying I put him through hell after I broke up with him. I used his flaws against him and that both of us did not know that he is psychologically ill. Now that he is aware of it, I should give him a second chance. I then replied saying I did not have sinister intentions, but it was just not working out for me. I also mentioned that once he is calmed, perhaps we can have a proper conversation. He then replied, saying I should give us 3 months' time for him to show me that he has changed. If it still doesn't work, he will get lost and I can take legal action should he contact me after that. Or, if I do not have feelings for him anymore, I should meet him for dinner and write him a list of things I liked and disliked about him. I was just so appalled by the request. I do not feel comfortable meeting him at all. I actually do not know if I can consider these as stalking or harassment. There are no laws against these things where I am. I do not know how to feel at the moment. What should I do?